Hello, everybody. This is Sarah RPs, and usually on my channel, I'm just posting the Changeling Chronicle that I'm in, or you're listening to rants and stuff about various she houses and stuff, and various opinions I have on them. But today, I am lucky enough to interview two two of the creators for my favorite webcomic ever. They do a comic for Changeling the Dreaming, and it actually covers like how it all got started. It got me into Changeling when I knew almost nothing about it. It's gotten so many of my players into it. It's Rocío and Perez, the writer and the artist for Chrysalis.
Hello, everyone.
So guys, first off, what inspired you to do this in the first place?
Do you want to start, Rocío?
Well,
because
I don't
know. You started thinking about it first, and then you told me to participate.
Sara and I have been thinking of making a comic for a very long time. I think we started thinking about comics maybe 6 years ago or something like that, because I liked to write and she liked to draw. So the connection was like very clear.
Obvious, you can say.
It was obvious that we had to do something together. And I don't know, maybe like 4 years ago, we decided to start a comic, and we decided to start a comic about Changeling because we knew that it wasn't a very known game, and it was different, and we loved it. So we wanted to love people to love it as we did, and I think we started doing things for it like in 2011 maybe.
Yeah, at first it was difficult, at least in the technical part, because I wasn't confident with my skills. So I started painting it and drawing it, and I have a different first page. It's quite awful. I still have it in my documents, and so I started drawing it, and I didn't like it, so we stopped making the webcomic, and then I think we waited several months, and then I don't remember why. Yeah, so
I think it took us a couple of years to start doing it. I mean,
we started, and then we stopped, and then we started again years later, from the beginning.
But I think the first time we tried, we didn't even finish the first page. The first page was very square, not very appealing looking, and it contained like first the she appearing, and then some guys watching TV, and then Declan in a bar smoking, and then the she again, and it was not really appealing. So
we weren't ready. I think we weren't ready.
We weren't ready for it.
No.
But
then we started again, and everything went smooth. And now we are here. So
we tried a different approach to it, not trying to tell lots of things in just one page. So we started telling Becca's story, how she was a mortal and she was enjoying the night when mankind went to the moon, and then the she appeared, and one of the true fays approached her and possessed her, just like they did the first time they came around. And it's a story. Well, it's a comic that really portrays our evolution as an artist and as a writer, because I've written several things. I've written novels, short stories, but I've never ever written comic books until now. And
we wanted we
you can
wanted
see.
to. Or okay. Do you want to
Now
to go on?
you can see how I tried at first to put a lot of backstory in the beginning, so you get big text walls telling the story, and it wasn't really appealing at first. But then I got to get better. So the text in every page is more condensed, and it's more clear, and it's more appealing to read as a whole.
Yeah, but really wanted to make it because we know that Changeling isn't as famous as other World of Darkness games, and we wanted um, to give it an opportunity. We wanted to show it to people, to different kinds of people, and I don't know. As it is our favorite game, it was quite sad for us that no, um, so many people knew it. I don't know. What do you think, Rocío?
Yeah, I think the intention behind the comic was to tell how much we loved Changeling and make other people get to know Changeling and love it as we did.
Yeah.
And we tried. I tried to make understandable some things that not many people can get the first time they come around with when reading Changeling, the chimeric world and the chimeric reality, and how reality and fantasy interlocks, and how they are fae and they are human and at the same time. And I think that is something that it's really clear, and that wasn't my idea. That was Sarah's idea. The first time we see the Red Cap Barnaby, we see him in a bus stop, and she said, "What about showing him as a normal human, and then a child sees him for what he is?" And you can see just in one of the first pages that fantasy and reality are interlocking, and they are there at the same time. So you can get how Changeling is. And I think we talk too much.
Yeah, maybe.
Actually, that we talked a little bit about the story, but the art actually tells its own little story too, because it's really clever. There's that bit with the red cap, but then there's also a bit where she says, "Here, take my sword," and it's clearly a gun, but she knows it's a sword. Everybody she's talking to knows it's a sword. You, the human viewer and stuff, don't see it as that for the first time, but then after she says that, you see it as a sword in the subsequent panels. And I think little touches like that are really clever.
Yeah, it's in the artistic plane. I know plane is well, in
The artistic sphere,
sphere, or I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. It's really difficult to portray some things because you have to think about. You have to think that there are two worlds that are mixed together, and you have to show it. And sometimes I get very blocked, but then I only have to open the book or I don't know, read our own games, and then I come up with an idea to solve that problem. But Changeling is quite Changeling. I don't know. For me, I don't know how to say it. Un
Changeling.
reto.
They say Changeling, but for us, we say Changeling. Is you read things and you interpret them in your head. For example,
what I'm trying to say is that for me it's I don't know the word in English right now. Can you help me, Rocío? Reto.
challenge.
Un reto. A challenge. That's. I was trying. Changeling is a challenge for me. I was trying to say that. I was getting very confused trying to say that. Yeah, because it's very difficult. But then I think I'm getting better with time, and I think I'm able to show some difficult things. Like for example, Barnaby. In both his mortal appearance and his changeling looks. At the same way.
At first we thought that maybe every time a new character appeared, we had to show how he was in his mortal seeming and his fiery seeming, but it was not really clever in a narrative way. So we decided that we were just going to keep things coming. For example, we have seen Becca's mortal seeming and Becca's fiery seeming, but Declan, Yvonne, and almost everyone, we have just seen them as Fae. And if they die or if they become mortal for some reason, we will see them as they are in the mortal scene. But for now, they're going to be Fae. So
are they mortal for some reason?
Huh?
Are they going to become mortal for some reason? Are they going to succumb?
Well, they could die either in a real way or in a chimeric way. We thought for a while that maybe Violet should die chimerically to make the notion of dying chimerically understandable for readers, but it will stop the narrative pace to stop and explain that. So we decided to keep it out, and we'll explain it if that happens in the future.
Yeah, we want to explain those notions. Well, we have our story, and we already know what we want to do with the story. But if we can, we want to show some changeling notions, like the chimerical death, for example, to try to make it more understandable for new players. So we want to help with this webcomic to other people to play changeling also. No, it's not just about the story.
Actually, that is a fair question, because when I was reading this, I had less than a month's worth of experience in Changeling, and I learned a lot from it. But what is more important to the two of you, to tell a great story, or to educate readers and suck them into what can be confusing more
I think the most important thing is to make a good story. And some things we try to explain them outside the comic. For example, right now there are many characters who are wounded, and they are saying, I have to go to the freehold because I will heal there. And that is something that it's part of the system. You heal when you're in a freehold. I think it's like 1 health level per hour or something. So we say that in the comic, and then in the comments, at least in the Spanish version, because in the Spanish version we have more feedback and a more intense conversation with our readers. We say, well, take the freeholds as a Pokemon center. You go and you heal, and that's why they are going to go, and that is why Garnet is wounded quite gruesome. She has a gruesome wound in the side, and she just goes to the freehold. And
yeah, she doesn't care too much, and it can be surprising. Yeah, but she doesn't care because she knows she's going to heal over time.
Yeah. And you'll see that she gets to heal that night, and very quickly.
I did wonder when she stumbled back in there with her gruesome wound, only to find out that, like, everybody else had red cap blood on their hands.
Yeah.
If she was going to storm out or not. because she still had to heal.
Yeah, it's a big castle, so she can stay in other rooms. Well, you'll see, you'll see.
Actually, I meant to ask. I'm not that familiar with Mortal Eyes. I pretty much just used it to mine information for Selkies. But this freehold, this castle and so forth, is it in the lore, or did you create?
No, no. We are using the Mortal Eyes, the San Francisco setting in our games, but this is set in Los Angeles. So no, everything that appears in the comic, every freehold and every setting is made up.
Okay,
And sometimes, yeah.
that that answers the reader's question. Because I asked people for questions before I did this. So you chose Los Angeles because you could add your own stuff to it.
I chose Los Angeles because it was close enough to San Francisco, so I got to know how political things were, but it was far enough to allow me to create the freehold and the city's politics on my own. So I didn't have to bother, or I didn't have to stay close to a narrative line.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could have set the story in Spain, for example. But I think we wanted to set it in United States because it was easier for us, and it will be easier for our readers because Changeling it's mainly set there, at least the official background. No.
I think
There are two kingdoms that make up Spain, and there's one that makes up Portugal, but they're not really covered. They're covered in.
No.
no, no, and I don't think Spain or Europe. It's clearly covered. It lets you create freely what you want, but Spain is not covered, and what it appears in the books, like the kingdom of Leon, kingdom of Navarra. It's not close to the reality. They are mixing things in a way that they never were. So I wouldn't stick to that. I like that they set Al Andalus kingdom as an Arab kingdom in the south because of the historical events that happened in Spain, in medieval Spain. But I don't really like how they portray Spain. Nevertheless, Spain is not really funny in the 60s and the 70s because we had
No.
a dictator for 40 years, and the hippie movement, the Summer of Love, and I think every interesting historical event that happened in America and in the UK and in the whole world, it didn't happen in Spain. We were having not a lot of fun, and the hippie movement and everything else, it didn't hit us as it happened there. I think in Spain, the true Accordance War and the true return, the true resurgence will happen in the 80s. But
Actually, I do remember in the Unseelie book when it's covering House Allele, it said that they sort of gravitated in the 60s to those places of unrest and the places that weren't having a lot of fun, as you put it.
yeah. Well, I think we decided to set it in America because
Rocío?
all right. No,
Okay.
it's closed. We know how the Accordance War goes in America because we have played an Accordance War Chronicle before, set in New York, and there is this wonderful book, one of the War of Darkness that I like the most, is the Full Slack, the Commoner Way, and it's really great, and it portrays how the war started, why it started, how the commoners were doing before the sea came, and it has many good historical events, battles, and things that happened that could help me build the war. But I think almost everything that is going to happen is made up.
So will we be seeing some of the big things that happened though with the Knockers and the Knight of Iron Knives and so forth?
Yeah, the Knight of Iron Eyes is definitely going to happen. What we have thought about the story covers, I think, until 1972, 1973, when David Ardrey appeared and tried to calm things down.
Well, David.
David. Well,
David.
And I think that's when it's the date when the comic is going to end, about that date. But we have 3 years to cover until then.
Yeah, that's far off in the future.
Yeah.
I'm interested actually in the kits that you chose to be your main characters. A satyr, a red cap. I guess I can definitely see why you wanted the She to be in there. They're pivotal for coming back during that point. But why these other kits?
Well, I think the satyr was something that happened. I mean, we didn't really think about it. We just said there should be a satyr. Okay, there should be a satyr. But
yeah, I think we thought maybe that Fiona will get I don't know, will get ¿cómo se llama? Mejor, Rocío?
Better.
Will get better. It's a heal. I don't know. Would get on, but I don't know how to say it in English. Damn it.
Fiona will get on better with the commoners and the nobles alike. So no.
What I'm trying to say is that as satyr, as he are more friendly with Fionas, and Fionas are more friendly with satyrs, at least when.
Yeah, like satyrs are. It's something that it's said in one of the books, the Shining Host. They say that one of the kids that she loved most is satyrs. They get on with satyrs like moths to a flame. They can't stop doing them. No, there is a paragraph about courtly love.
I think that
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, as I was saying that as we wanted to make a connection between those characters, we thought that a satyr and Fiona were our best option. It would be different for example, a Fiona and a Slug. I don't know. It will be a different relationship.
Yeah, I found the paragraph you were talking about. But let's be honest, with satyrs, it's the sex that matters.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, but Declan is a romantic satyr, and we are seeing him very lovesick about his last lover and how she left him, and he's not in his better time.
Oh,
but I like.
He should totally get on with a Fiona then, because nothing bad will happen then if he falls in love with a Fiona, right? They'll live happily ever after for sure.
Yeah, of course. In an accordance war, it's the best it's the best thing they can do. But I wanted to portray a different kind of satire. I like the Changeling stereotypes, but I like to play with them. It's the same as the Red Caps. Absolutely love the Red Caps, and they are my favorite kids. And if I were a Changeling, I will be a Red Cap. I'm definitely a Red Cap, and I like them in as silly red caps and unsilly red caps. I like them in every way, and I think they are very interesting. But sometimes they only get the credit of kind of orcs and villains. So I want to portray them in a sympathetic way. But still, they are red caps, so they are going to talk badly and they are going to murder things because that's the way they are. But they can have friends and they can be friendly.
I think Barnaby, I've been reading about what's happened to him and how he used to be friends with the clown and so forth. I think you created a really complex red cap for somebody that's, I don't know, has bad attitude on all the time.
Yeah, I based Barnaby in one of my NPCs. We are playing a chronicle set in the 80s, and Sarah's character, well, the other Sarah, her character is based on one of the NPC's character that appeared in the Pooka kid book, and her character is a Spider Pooka dominatrix. So her lover is a red cap, and he's a Gramp red cap, and he almost forgot about the Changeling way.
And my character helped him to recover and to I don't know, to be in touch again with his changeling side, with glamour. It's with glamour and with adventure and all that stuff. And he's alive now because of that. He's still a red cap and he hasn't vanished in the mist because my Pooka has helped him in that way.
Think I wanted to play with the notion that people that are not really friendly and doesn't have as much friends, they kind of keep their friends closer because they know that if they let them go, they're not going to find more friends, not soon enough. So Barnaby is really close to Declan because they are friends since they were very young, and Barnaby wants to keep Declan forever because he's one of his only friends, and maybe he is his only friend now. Remember that she killed a lot of redcaps, apparently.
Oh. And by the way, Sarah, the art for him is some of the best I've ever seen for a red cap. Kudos, that's a really tough job.
Thank you. For me, it's, I enjoy a lot drawing Barnaby, I have to say.
The nose and
yeah, it's fun to draw, and he has these silly faces that I love it. I just love how he's so, I don't know, mean and but it's mean, but it's cute at the same time. I don't know.
I think Barnaby is going to steal the show every time he appears because he gets the best lines. And that might be intentional. I don't know. It's my love of red caps. I can't help it.
Actually, the best lines, I was going to say, the way you have the Pooka talk, the turtle Pooka.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. You know exactly what she's saying, even though it's a lie.
Pooka are like the Malkavians of Changeling. You can let a novice play them because they are going to rip them apart. They are going to say everything like yes, every yes is going to become a no, and that is not the way the Pooka talk. At least not the most experienced Pooka. In Pooka Kid Book, and I think that's the best kid book in the whole line. They teach you how to lie and how to say things that are not real, but make them clear enough so the listener is going to understand what you're saying.
I've noticed sometimes it will take her a little bit longer, like maybe an extra half a sentence to get what
Mhm.
would take us a sentence to say, but you know exactly the intent, and it's not completely out of there. It doesn't rely on inflection, which is cool because it's all written down.
Yeah. It's playing Pooka and writing Pooka is really, really fun, and you
And
have to.
difficult.
Yeah, it's quite difficult.
Very difficult.
You have to think it through. You have to try to make something understandable, but not completely understandable, and at the same time you have to make it funny because that's what the Pooka do. So
Yeah.
you have to be able to laugh at what they're saying because it's absurd, but you know what their intention is.
I've
So
actually,
And if you don't want to lie, you can always exaggerate what you are trying to say, and it can work
mhm.
because it's a lie, but it's not a really big lie. Uh, it can be, but if you want to say something important, you can just exaggerate what you want to say, and it's okay.
Yeah, there's degrees. I mean, I've actually shown people that were considering making a puka and stuff before. I've shown them this webcomic to show how she gets her point across, and she's an authority figure, and she's still a puka. That a lot
Mhm.
of the time. Um, Actually, something I wanted to go back to. I did want to ask you guys, like, what your experience was playing Changeling, and it sounds like both you guys prefer to play commoners.
I love she. I have to say, well, I really love playing she, and um, playing cards is very funny, but playing she is different because they are so overly dramatic and they they make a world of a little thing. We have played Chronicles as commoners, and I was the storyteller for a political chronicle, only she, set in France, the place where there are like 4 she every commoner, something like that. There are like lots of she. And
Yes,
in,
I've
in
actually read they've got semi-hate groups that go out there writing around to go and round up kith that aren't
yes,
affiliated to
yes.
the house.
Um, Now in this chronicle they were part of a court of a county, and they had uh, unlimited freedom to do what they wanted. It was a sandbox game, and it was very very interesting because I have to say, as a storyteller, I am very very honored to have the players I have, and they are so good, and they get in so much trouble just for the sake of it. Yeah, so
I
it
love
was.
when my characters do something wrong. I just love it because I love to get them in trouble. So it was really fun.
It was a political chronicle, and it was the kind of chronicle that opposes character, and Sarah's character was really really opposed to the count, and one of the other characters was the count's wife, so they got physical in some times, and Sarah's character lost her only eye. So it was very
Yeah.
very intense. It was very very intense, and I liked it very much. And I think both ways of playing the funny corners that go on adventures, and the serious political she are good ways of playing, and very very funny ways of playing.
What's your favorite house?
My favorite house is Skatehawk. Skatehawk? How do you pronounce it?
Okay, so bit of a disagreement with the people I've been talking to. They either say that this is clearly based on the Isle of Skye, so we're going to say Skyatch, and then there's other people that say it's pronounced phonetically Scathach, so we're going to say Scathach. So basically, say whatever you want, I think.
I go with Skathat, and it's like in Spanish is the thing that makes the most sense, and I like them very much. But I love the 5 silly houses. I like them all. I think the one that I like the least is Liam House, but I love the Fiona, the Wydion, the Alien. I love them all. I don't like the ancillary houses as much. I like Baylor, but
How did you say Elune?
Alien,
Alien? No.
the conspiracy house.
Alien?
Yes.
Alien?
How's that?
Alien? I have to say it.
I say Ilunid, but you know
I think
what?
that's my favorite.
Alunet. Yeah, we say Alunet as well.
I think that's my favorite house because I like the way they change clips. They have a mystery to solve.
Nice guest here.
Hello.
He has been role-playing Changeling since he was 2 months old.
Oh.
But, oh, actually, Sarah, before I forget, I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
what platform do you use? And do you have any tips for people that want to get into doing this sort of thing? Because you guys are right. This is a great way to write about what you love and to introduce it to other people and that kind of thing.
So, are you asking about the software I use to draw the strips? Okay. I've used different softwares. I started with Photoshop, then I changed to Sci, then I changed to Manga Studio, and then I've changed again to Photoshop. So I just like to try different software. If you want to start, I would recommend to use a software like Manga Studio or Sci because they have better. It's easier. You can say it's easier to draw because they have a better response with the graphic tables. But you can draw how you like to draw. You can draw just using a pen and a paper. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are telling something and you are doing something that you like to do. So you can use whatever you want, really. But in digital, I recommend a software called Manga Studio because it has lots of tools that are useful to make comics. It's more specific to comic artists. Well, Manga Studio, I think it goes by other name, Clip Paint Studio too, and it's
okay.
quite cheap.
I think it's called Manga Studio in America, at least.
Manga Studio and Clip Studio Paint, and I think they do some offers from time to time, and you can buy it for like $5. I don't know how, but it's very cheap, really, very very cheap.
Sales.
Sales offers sales. Okay.
Do you use a tablet, or do you scan everything in and then color like afterwards?
I use a tablet. I don't have a scanner right now, so I draw directly into my computer, and it's easier for me because I work faster that way. But I understand that it can be tricky for beginners. because you have to get used to do that, and it takes a while, but everybody can do that.
Cool, cool. I guess, ladies, before we wrap this up, my last question would be, do you have any plans about how to take this further? Do you have more characters to introduce? Will you be going into the near dreaming proper at some point? Will we be seeing other supernaturals? Are there any other projects you're thinking about?
I have a problem about taking the supernatural, other supernaturals. I don't really like crossovering. I don't think the system is prepared for it because it doesn't really mix well. It's kind of the same thing, but it doesn't work in the same way. I think the species are too different to get along well, and I don't really like mixing supernaturals. It's something that I don't like. I like, for example, from time to time, some changeling will hear about the Fianna. From time to time, the vampires will fear the werewolves. But that's my way of playing. I'm not saying that crossovering is bad, but it's not the way I play. So it's not really going to happen in the webcomic. Besides, it's Changeling webcomic, so no other supernaturals. If the other supernaturals want a comic, well, go find them. All right. And about the new characters, well, we haven't really seen a villain, and a new villain is going to appear in the first pages in the next chapter. And the new villain is really, really, really cruel, and you're going to see it in the first pages, so I'm not saying anything. And about going to the dreaming, I don't really, I haven't thought about it. Sometimes I put a little bit of the dreaming in my chronicles, but maybe you will, maybe you won't. But I think the most important thing that is going to happen is a political clash between the commoners and the nobles, and the dreaming is going to be there, but I want to keep it down here in the real world. And as they are going to be fighting for the real world and the real freeholds.
Yeah, because the story is kind of, it's about balance, really. It's about balance between commoners and nobles. Nobles? No. How do you say nobles? And between real war and the dreaming and the changeling war. So it's kind of about that balance. So we want to show a little bit of everything, but not too much of something in particular.
And we are going to revisit some characters that were introduced in the beginning, and we haven't. Well, one of the things that happened was that between the first and the well, no, in the first pages in the second chapter, we had a hiatus that lasted like 9 months or something like that. So we kind of forgot what the other characters said, but there are a lot of characters that are coming back, and they are going to do more things.
Yes, because we are learning.
You're going to see how it develops.
We are still learning how to do this. We are still learning how to write a comic and how to draw a comic. So it's kind of our own battle field. We use it as a practice, but we are happy to see that we are getting better with time.
Well,
so If you
I
want
was
to,
referring.
if you want to try to do something like us, if you really have a story that you want to tell and you want to draw it, just go for it. Because I started, and you can see my first pages were totally different from my last ones. So if I can do it, you can do it. So go for it.
Awesome. Awesome. Really cool. And actually, yeah, before we leave, I gotta say,
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm a really vain and shallow person. If like the artwork doesn't look good or if it doesn't look really slick and stuff, God, maybe that's why it took me so long to get into it. Never mind, I'm not gonna say the name of that game right here. But anyways, yes, the artwork and how slick everything looked really sucked me in the beginning before I had a chance to get invested into these characters. So kudos. I think you guys have had like a consistently strong start from because I've been reading this for about a year, for as long as I've seen it, and really be proud of yourselves, ladies. When I told my friends and my gaming group and that kind of thing that I would get a chance to talk to you guys, they all freaked out because they knew about you and they knew about the comic.
Oh well, we freaked out because we didn't know we had so many fans. So it goes both ways.
From here, I want to say, if you're watching this and if you're reading the comic, please comment. Even it doesn't matter if you're commenting on Facebook, if you're commenting on the comic site. I don't care. Please tell us that you love our comic, because that is what makes us keep going, and that is what makes us make it better. So it has been a real surprise to know that so many of you love this comic that we are doing. I can't even believe it. So please comment and please tell us. And tell us what you think it is going to happen, and tell us if you like this or the other character. We really, really want to hear your voice. And we are creating this for us, but for you too. So please tell us.
Well, cool. Again, ladies, thank you so much. And for everybody else,
Thank you for this opportunity too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been very cool, and I feel like an internet celebrity for a while.
Everybody else, thank you for watching, and the link to their comic will be in the comments here, so check it out.